Today we're gonna be talking about something really interesting, which is gonna be why does your lead generation agency service delivery feel like wrestling a grizzly bear and how to fix it. I talk with people and they're like, I got these clients, but it's really hard to deliver them results. When you actually do it right, the service delivery looks like this. First, you have a cold email campaign or you have a list of leads. Next thing that you do is you put them in a cold email sending tool. What you do is you write cold email sequences. Then you launch it, you get replies. From those replies, you get sales calls. Then you take sales calls and you close a client. And then what you do for that client is you take this whole process here and then you just do it again for the client. So in my head, it's super simple. I'm like, okay, how are people struggling with this? Then I finally have realized why are people struggling with service delivery with a lead generation agency. I'm gonna show you why it actually happens. And second thing, I'm gonna show you how to fix it. So what happens is we have a bunch of different social media and information platforms. We first have YouTube, then we have, let's say, Twitter, we have IG, then we have some courses, and then we just have random information on the internet. Let's say that it's a world wide web. So it's a W. And all of these places have amazing information. People are telling, do this, retweet this, and you'll get this, and this is my cold email script, and this is my niche, and this is my offer, and buy this course, and use this offer, and do this in your sales calls, and blah, 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 blah. And there's just like infinite amount of information. And usually the information is just, this is the cold email script that I use to do X, Y, and Z. Use this to get same results. So what people do when they start building their own lead generation agency, LGA, is they go to all of these different places and they basically like just collect puzzle pieces and they create their own agency. So they're like, okay, how do I pick a niche? So they buy a course and someone tells them that, yeah, this is the niche that I used. Then they see a YouTube video, they're like, okay, I'll take this offer. And then they read a book and they're like, oh, okay, this is how I do sales. And then they go to Twitter and they see someone's cold email script on how to get lead generation agency clients. And then they go to the World Wide Web. So they basically built their whole agency by taking these small pieces of the puzzle and just connecting them together. And of course, at that point, the agency is probably gonna be like fairly functional for getting clients itself. Like if you have a niche that has worked and you have a cold email script for that niche that has worked and you have the sales script and you have everything basically just given out to you, of course, you're gonna sign clients because it's working. Someone has already figured out the formula, so you are just gonna do that. But then what happens is you sign a client and that client is a international payroll management SaaS company from Australia that helps Latin American companies save expenses on payroll fees with their international employees. So let's say that's your first client. And they're like, okay, now what I need to do? I need to identify what is their best customer segment to target. So you first need to figure out what is the niche to go after. Then how will I structure their offer so it's actually gonna work in a cold email? Then I need to actually have to write the cold email scripts and the campaigns and the follow-ups, basically by connecting this niche and offer and writing it in a good script. Then I need to do inbox management, so I need to find a good strategy to do inbox management, so I can actually turn the positive replies into meetings, and then you have onboarding, client communication, all of this stuff. And because you have actually never done this process yourself from the ground up, you have just copied information from the internet, that's like the only thing that you can really do. So you can't find the information for your payroll management company helping Latin American companies. You can't find the best target audience for them from a YouTube video, or you can't find a good offer for them from a course, or you can't find cold email scripts specifically made for their offer from a Twitter thread, or you can't find an inbox management strategy for them. Like you can't just go somewhere and copy it. Like you need to actually understand it. It's the same thing as, let's say someone takes this beautiful picture of a horse and makes it into a puzzle. And then you buy the puzzle and then you connect all the 500 pieces and then the end result is this beautiful picture of a horse. That doesn't mean that you can take these pictures. That doesn't make you a photographer. That just means that you were able to take the pieces that someone else had created and piece them together, which is 1,000 times easier than actually taking the picture and making the puzzle. So then what you start doing now, you might not acknowledge your own deficiencies. You think that you are really good because you built this lead generation agency, when in fact you just went over and copied a bunch of shit that other people gave you. They had pre-made templates, pre-made niches like offers, all of that stuff. You just took someone else's stuff and used it and it worked. And that makes you think that you actually know how to do it. So then when you need to do it for a client, you actually can't, and you're like, oh shit, this is hard. And then because you don't really understand the small nuances, like you don't understand what the niche needs to have and how to identify it, what is their sophistication level, what is their market awareness level, what is a good total addressable market size, what title you should reach out to, what do these different titles in these companies care about, what do you need to offer, how to offer it in a way that it actually plays at a sophistication level, how to target their biggest pain point, how to actually structure the cold email script that it has to offer presented in the right way. Like, you don't understand the small nuances, so you're not able to do it. So of course you're gonna fail. And this is good news for you, because there is a solution for it. So if you are thinking about building a lead generation agency and you are like, I'm a bit worried about the service delivery, or maybe you are already running a lead generation agency but you're struggling with the service delivery, you're not getting your clients results, or maybe you're running some other business model and you're just struggling with the service delivery, in 99% of the cases this is what you have been doing, just basically piecing together information from different sources and haven't even realized it. So what is the fix? First of all, the fix is there's nothing wrong about taking information from somewhere else. Like, that's the name of the game. Like, it doesn't make sense for you to create everything from scratch. Like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel to make it work. But what you need to make sure that you do is, when you are taking this information, that you actually understand the why behind it. That's super important. And that's why you, for example, see in my YouTube videos and the stuff that I share is I actually explain the why behind these things. Because that way it's actually useful. So you need to actually sit down and think why you are doing these things. Okay, why should I write the cold email script in this way? Why should I pick this niche? Why does this niche specifically work? Or why do I structure my offer in this manner? Like, why do I say X and not Y? Why do I use a unique mechanism with this market and why I don't use a unique mechanism with this market? Why the time frame sometimes needs to be 12 months and why the time frame sometimes needs to be 17 days? What is the difference? When you're taking the information into your agency, you need to analyze why those things are actually important and why they work. Like, just figuring everything out by yourself, like understanding the why behind it, it can take a bunch of time because there's a bunch of different nuances that people can't really explain. Another option that you have, which is the more efficient option, is basically working with someone who knows the why and someone who basically teaches you to self-sufficiently figure these things out. So, for example, we have this coaching program called Agency Velocity, AV. And what we do here is we help aspiring lead generation agency owners build a $10,000 a month lead generation agency, 92 days. So what we do here is when someone joins Agency Velocity, is we give them the training materials and the resources so they are first able to understand on the surface level why these things work. So they get the surface level, like thesis and understanding and training on it. Then, after they have the surface level figured out, we actually one-on-one help them personally to figure them out on a deeper level, like actually understand it. And then we give them a roadmap that they follow so they can actually dial those things in. So then when they start doing service delivery for their clients, they actually know how to do it. And that's why we see, for example, guys like Daniel here on the screen start building a business with their client, with a huge client that's gonna make him multiple 6 figures this year. Or guys like Oliver book a full week in their client's calendar full of meetings because they are actually able to do it because they know the why behind it. They understand why they are doing things X, Y, and Z. And this is truly the only way you'll actually become a proper business owner because you understand the model that you're doing business on. So yeah, there's really 2 ways to fix it. First thing is when you're taking this new information and taking these new puzzle pieces, you need to understand how those puzzle pieces were created and why they work and why they fit into different places. And second thing, a little bit the faster and easier way is just work with someone else who is able to give you that information and who actually makes sure that you understand that. So basically a coaching program or a mentorship or a partnership. So if you're looking to go for the option 2, the option that is a bit faster and a bit easier for you, and make sure that you succeed. Like I already mentioned, we have a coaching company called Agency Velocity IO, where we basically help aspiring agency owners build these lead generation agencies, build them up to $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, and actually explaining them the whys behind the concepts and making sure that they actually understand what they're doing, just based with our resources and just personal one-on-one coaching. So what you can do is you can go to Agency Velocity IO, see a little bit what we do, read some of the stuff, watch some of the videos. We have a bunch of case studies taking guys from 0 to 15K, 0 to 10K, 0 to 13K, 0 to 18K in really short amount of time. There's a bunch of interviews, there's a bunch of stuff. So go through those, see if that's something that you'd be interested in. We'll show you how all the details in the program look like, see if it's even a fit for you. Around 70% of the people who apply get disqualified because the program is really powerful, and we are fairly picky on who we get in because the community standard is really high. So if you're interested in joining a community like that and getting that one-on-one personal help and making sure that you build the lead generation agency that you always have dreamed of, book a call with us, and I hope I see you on the inside.